Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Pass to a cutting Hiltz. He darts in.
People actually subscribe.
All across central New York.
Time expired! Syracuse has done it!
It's Drive Time with your host, Tim Leonard.
Hey, guess what? I'm gear one.
We welcome you into Drive Time, where we are still reacting to the Orange basketball loss last night. Tough one at NC State. That is 4 in a row for the Cuse that have followed a similar script. And we are still taking your phone calls on the state of the program and the state of Syracuse basketball in the year 2026. 315-437-7644. The phone lines are open throughout much of our show today. We will bring on the head coach of the women's basketball team, Felisha Legette-Jack. So we'll get a breather from the angry men's basketball callers. We'll chat with Coach Jack. Her team is back in action tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. start inside the Dome. Taking on Georgia Tech. Should be an opportunity for them to bounce back after a really strong performance on the road at UNC, a game that they were right in from start to finish, fell in overtime by a score of 77-71. Great start to the year for the women's basketball team. Not so much for the men's team, but we will chat with Coach Jack here in about 30 minutes. Right around the bottom of the hour, we'll bring on the head coach of the Orange women's basketball team. Always fun to chat with Coach Jack. She'll bring some positive energy. I'm sure we don't even have to wonder about that. We know Coach Jack will be bringing the passion and energy when we get a chance to speak with her. And we know some of you are not feeling much positive energy today, and that is perfectly understandable, and you have every right to be upset right now. You have every right to call in and vent and get frustrated, and we can try and hash out what are the main takeaways and what are the next steps for Syracuse basketball to get this thing back on the right side of the tracks, because right now it is really daunting when you consider the rest of this season, and there's no denying that. They're not playing good enough, and it has been a frustrating product to watch. So 315-437-7644. The phone lines are already blowing up here at 4 ESPN 44. I figured that would be the case. We'll allow you to call in for the opening in about 25 minutes of the show, and we can run caller to caller if you'd like and get your thoughts out. This is our Burdick BMW of Cicero opening drive, always brought to you by our friends at Burdick BMW of Cicero. So with that in mind, and we're off and running on the show, let's go to the phone lines as we get on the air today, and let's check in with Nick, who is in Las Vegas, leading us off. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Tim. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there, Nick. How you doing?
I'm sure you've had better days. I don't blame you. I've been listening, and I just shook my head. But I got a couple of things I want to get off my chest, so give me a little bit of a... Give me some time here.
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, I was listening to Orange Nation this morning, and somebody called in and was naming players that we have to retain on next year's roster. He mentioned Donnie, Sadiq, and Cayenne. Now, I can't help but to think, are we delusional? After the players are seeing how the fans are acting throughout this whole debacle, who's going to want to come back and play for Syracuse?
Well, I mean, Cayenne Anthony, I would hope, would want to come back just because everything that inspired him to come to Syracuse, a lot of it still applies. He wants to bring the program back. It's his dad's former school. I'm sure that it's just hard to imagine Cayenne really playing for another school. I think we're in agreement there, right? I mean, it feels like he should be one that comes back, we would hope, regardless of who is the head coach next year. Now, you could get into, well, they're probably going to want to make sure that it's a head coach that fits kind of the agenda of what Kyan and Carmelo want, or else they might move on. But I just see Kyan Anthony coming back next year. And as far as Donnie, I don't see him playing college basketball next year. I mean, I don't think he's going to get drafted necessarily, but I think he is probably going to move on to the professional ranks after this year, would be my guess.
Put it this way, if he plays college basketball next year, it's not going to be for Syracuse.
It doesn't feel like it right now, and I guess you can make a ton of money in NIL for like a school in the SEC, but he could have done that. He could have left Syracuse after his first year. I think for him, it was, I'm going to come back to Syracuse, and then I'm going to go to the NBA. And that seems to be the mindset with Kyan Anthony, because he has said, I hope it's one and done, but it's 2 years max. I've heard him say that before. I think it was on the Field of 68 podcast. So knowing that, I mean, I think you stay put if you're a Kyan, but obviously Donnie Freeman, once you get into a third year in college, you're lowering your chances of getting drafted even more, probably.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I just think the whole overreaction and some of the derogatory extent that the fans is going to, the team sees it. The team has commented on it. Kyan made a comment on it. I just don't see where there's a soft spot in their heart to come back to Syracuse after what they see after they watch how people act. Just my thoughts. The second thing I want to bring up is everybody, is worried about who the next coach is going to be. And I think people forget we got spoiled under having Jim Boeheim there for as long as we did, because let's face it, he gave us a significant hometown discount as far as what it costs to keep him there.
Yeah.
And
we were spoiled, no doubt.
To find a coach that's going to come in at the number that Syracuse is willing to pay, all these names that are being thrown out there are very unrealistic, in my opinion.
Well, it just depends. I mean, I think there's a portion of the fan base that thinks it's going to be Jay Wright or Rick Pitino or someone like that, and that's unrealistic. But it's still, it's a job that hopefully they understand the urgency, they meaning the administration and those decision makers within the university, they understand that this is a really important time in Syracuse basketball, and this could be a hinge point, a fork in the road, et cetera, where hopefully there is some urgency where they are going to treat this seriously and try and bring in as good of a coach as possible, knowing that this is a very important hire. Now, they're all important hires. You said that every time, but it does feel like if they don't
they have
get
to
this
one right.
Yeah,
there's no question about it.
Yeah.
If they mess this up, this could go backwards fast.
Right now, we view Syracuse, I say we, I mean, Field of 68 did an anonymous poll, and they ranked Syracuse as the 6th best job in the ACC, and that was anonymous coaches giving their input on the situation, which obviously...
And I thought that was fair.
Yeah.
I saw that post. They had NC State ahead of Syracuse, which I didn't agree with, but they had Clemson below Syracuse, and I think that should have been reversed. So I think that's the right number, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clemson will always be considered a football school, so you're going to gravitate towards, like, Syracuse is a basketball school. Right now, it's not performing like a basketball school, but that's the history, that's the fan base, that's where the eyeballs are. And obviously, the ticket sales, they still had 21,000 fans at the game against Miami. Now, obviously, the attendance has gone way down, but my point is that there's still a lot of intrigue and a lot of prestige with this program. So I thought it was a fair representation of where Syracuse ranks as a job in the ACC. And now you have to wonder, are they going to look at outside the family candidates if it comes to that, or which it certainly seems like it is heading that way, or are they going to try and find someone who has ties to the program, has ties to Carmelo, has ties to the family already? And it doesn't feel like there's a lot of great candidates in that family pool, but that's the $1 million question right now, and it's been the $1 million question really the last couple of times we brought up the head coaching search.
Well, what I found interesting, and I was going to end with this, and I'll call back tomorrow to talk about football schedule, but the the guy from USF, Hodgson,
Yeah.
however you say his name. I didn't realize it, but the Lallies have quite the relationship with him, and they actually
Who'd you say
support USF basketball.
The Lallies, or I couldn't hear you there.
Yeah, the Lallies,
okay.
yes, correct. So it seems like he would be a real, almost like a go-to fit, because not only is he from Western New York originally, he grew up as a Syracuse fan, and he's got connections with that biggest donor. I mean, it seems like it's a perfect alignment to me.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I know a lot of the fans right now are trying to figure out who that next head coach is, and it's going to be fascinating for sure if and when it gets to that point, and what they do next, and how they handle this search. But I think you're right that the Syracuse job maybe isn't quite as in demand as a portion of the fan base, but we also still, I think it's just fair to say it's the 6th best job in the ACC. That's where it is right now. That can still hopefully get you a very good coach and a very important hire, and we'll see what they do if and when it comes to that.
Tim, thanks for taking my call.
All right.
I'll talk to you tomorrow about football.
Sounds good, Nick. Nick in Las Vegas leading us off. Next up on the lines, we go to Connecticut. We've got Rob in Connecticut. 315-437-7644 if you'd like to chime in on anything Syracuse basketball right now. Rob, you are on Drive Time. How's it going?
Yo, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm hoping that you're going to be a sane caller, because we've had some wild ones lately. But I believe in you, Rob. I think you're going to bring some good points here.
I hope to be sane, of course. Of course, the callers that follow me will be the judge of that, I guess, right?
Sure.
So I wish I were calling about John Harbaugh, because that's at least good news, right? Nothing but positive things. But I'm not. So, Adrian Autry, do you think, maybe he hasn't been canned yet because of the looming administrative change in the front of the house with regards to the chancellor? Do you think that's possible? Because I think that's a major log jam if you don't have leadership at the top. What's your thought on that one?
I just think it's too early right now, and I know that a lot of people are digging up examples of times when coaches were fired in mid-season. There's maybe a chance that mid-February something were to happen, or they announce something to the effect of he won't be back next year. But right now, I just don't see any value in doing it at this moment. And the only real reason you would do it is to just sort of stop the noise that's coming. And that isn't a good enough reason for me. There's a lot of negatives that I've laid out on this show and other shows, post-game shows, and I think everyone kind of knows my stance on this by this point if you've been listening. But I don't think it's right to do it right now, and I think that is how 99% of the schools in the country would treat the situation.
Well, see, here's the deal. I think, we have people saying this is a depressed atmosphere, and it is because of one reason. It's because of the incompetence. So I agree with you. If they canned Adrian Autry right now, what are we going to have? John Wildhack, who I do believe is the source of a lot of the problems. He's just going to make a decision which is incompetent. So we're just going to it's like throwing good money after bad money.
Right. I mean, who's going to be the interim head coach in this scenario?
Sure.
And I don't think it makes a difference. It doesn't improve things.
Right. It's the law of diminishing returns. So it's just is the juice worth the squeeze to throw in a nice little Syracuse,
Sure.
joke, I guess. I went to Syracuse, graduated in 1998, so it's really tough to watch them play like this because, look, I remember back in, 1996 when we had, when we lost to Kentucky, all the years, even when we were mediocre, we were still decent and competitive. You remember the year that Jim Boeheim had his appendix taken out, and then we had, I don't want to bring him up, but we had Bernie Fine step in,
sure.
And when he stepped in, we had just lost, I think, beat NC State, and then we collapsed because we had DeJuan,
We don't have to go all the way down memory lane.
Yeah.
I hear you, Rob. It's frustrating because it used to be a given that we would be entertained by Syracuse basketball in the winter, and we would be talking about a team that is definitely making March Madness. So it's important that they get things back on the right tracks here, and it's important that they nail the next hire if and when it comes to that. And I'm still rooting for the team this year. I'm still following along this year, and I think that's how everyone should be. But obviously, it's important that I'm sure the school is already thinking about what is the next option for us. How do we go from here, and what do we need to improve to get things back on the tracks?
Are you thinking internal hire? Because I say I'm against the internal hire.
No,
or are you thinking national search?
Well, when you say internal, are you saying the family or like?
Yes, the family.
Yeah, I mean that's
the Syracuse family. Because like your Jerry McNamara's, all those people, the people with your previous players who are, look, there's a loyalty aspect to Syracuse. It's cultural. So if we think that we're going to redo Syracuse culture, you're kidding. And I realize that. So you're not going to go out and get your, the people who, your Rick Pitino-esque coaches. Not going to happen with the Syracuse culture. It's all about loyalty and principle. We get that, but you still have to hold your people accountable, and a change does need to happen. Yeah. But all right,
Rob, I got to let you go. We got to get to a break. Yeah. All right, Rob in Connecticut. On the point of, do I think it should be family, or as he put it, internal or external? I guess if we want to carry on with that, it's a tough question. To me, I feel like going outside the family makes sense in this instance because it feels like they need a fresh start. It feels like they need someone that can come in and build a new culture. But I also understand that there are a lot of people that played for Jim Boeheim and were coached by 3 or 4 assistants, and they know Jerry McNamara, and they know a Mike Hopkins or whoever, and they know the history of Syracuse basketball and the family of Syracuse basketball, and they don't want to lose that. So that being said, my feel is that the next move should be a fresh start, but you also are probably going to weigh both options here, and you're going to interview options from the family, I'm sure, and you're going to interview options from outside the family. And we'll see. It really is going to be fascinating the next couple months. And if it keeps trending like this, when they make a decision and what the timeline is, and we'll have more time to discuss it. Let's work in a break. We'll get to Michael on the phone lines as we return. 315-437-7644 if you'd like to call in. You're listening to Drive Time. Well said, Dilemma Cuse. Get the best coach. I do think the NIL would spike if you bring in the right coach, like it was with Fran Brown, bowling ball. Dilemma Cuse, your call, it was a little long, I remember it being on Orange Nation, but I enjoyed how you came with bullet points. You were prepared. You were the one who had the funny intro music too, right? Am I remembering that correctly? The Undertaker? I think you got a little wordy if we're critiquing it, but overall it was a sane call from what I remember. YouTube chat popping off. Donnie probably going to the NBA. I agree. Probably not getting drafted, maybe, but yeah, we keep using the phrase rock bottom, and then it keeps going lower. That's never good. We were using rock bottom going back to the end of the Boeheim era. We were using rock bottom last year. We're using rock bottom this year. The phrase rock bottom has been used too much. I would say UNC thinks that way. What is the obsession with keeping in the family? I don't think any other school thinks that way. UNC and Syracuse are two of the more family-oriented programs in the country. So they have very similar, their alumni really wants it to be a part of the UNC family. And Hubert Davis is right on the hot seat right now, too. And Hubert Davis is, I'm sure there's UNC fans. I mean, they've had a big one over Virginia recently, but before that, it was like, don't even bring him back from California. Keep him on the tarmac. Sure, there's a lot of fans that are having the same conversation down there at times this year where they feel like, why not just fire him now? It's a lost cause. And they're like 30th in Ken Palm, I think. Yeah, Duke, too. The hashtag brotherhood. Georgetown. I mean, Ed Cooley. I think UNC and Syracuse are really the two best examples. Duke, I think, is like they have sort of like a wider net, I would say, because it's just so many NBA guys at this point that have come through Duke. Like UNC, it was like Hubert Davis, Wes Miller. That's who they were looking at hiring. And it's always a similar I'm sure the conversation right now around UNC is similar. Do you keep it in the family with the next hire, or do you go outside the family? Did we lose our caller? We got Michael. I think DJ dropped. I think he's calling back, Kyle. Oh, now the lines are blowing up. Yeah, it was very hot before they beat Virginia. Still is hot because that's just how it goes down there.
$1440 AM. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on CuseSportsTalk.com.
Welcome back into Drive Time. We will have the head coach of the Orange Women's basketball team, Felisha Legette-Jack, joining us in about 10 minutes. But right now, we are taking your phone calls here on Drive Time in regards to Orange basketball. Let's go right back to the phone lines where we have Michael in Manlius, who has been waiting patiently. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tim. What's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I've got a major cold, but I'm getting over. I'm getting better.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, I want to apologize to Rico in Colorado and Pat I was just venting when I said that they were not real fans.
We're all venting these days, Michael. No apology necessary.
And I just want to say one thing. All I meant by what I said is that I believe there's software and there's hardware. Our hardware are our souls and how much fight and how much faith we have in our soul. And our software can change, can get better, and we can grow. We can always grow as souls. That's all I meant. And I hope to say that I think we can find common ground that can make us all happy again. And I really believe that, Tim.
All right, Michael in Manlius. He might have a better moral compass than Stephen Fonte, who we joke about on Orange Nation a lot. I mean, Michael in Manlius, he says a little bit of a negative thing, and he calls back in the next day and apologizes about it. We always appreciate his positivity. Let's go to Dave in Syracuse next up. Hey, Dave.
Hi, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm just going to make good, buddy. Just going to make a quick comment here, and it's not going to be a popular one. But,
all right.
Tim, if I got a list of candidates that I want to interview for this job, okay, there's absolutely one that I want to have and I want to talk to, and it's Jerry McNamara. And here's why. I have no doubts about his ability, his coaching ability, number one, his knowledge of X's and O's. His offense, his defense, I have no doubt in his ability to motivate players. If I had a son that was at that level, I would send him to play for Jerry McNamara in a nanosecond. So my only question to him in the interview process would be, Jerry, what's your plan for getting the players that we need at this level to get here? So what meaning his recruiting ties?
Yeah.
What's his idea for a coaching staff? What's his thoughts on NIL? All those things. If I were satisfied with his answer to that, he would be my guy.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a look, Dave. I think he will. He should get an interview, and we'll see. We'll see how he does in the interview compared to candidates that are outside the family, and it will be fascinating. I know a lot of you think very highly of Jerry McNamara, and a lot of you have made the point that you feel like the NIL would do better with Jerry McNamara as the head coach. The only thing I would say to the GMAC conversation is you're basically admitting you made the wrong call and you're trying to go back to that decision and then make the right call in hindsight. And I don't know how well it would play. I don't know if it just sort of reeks of we're trying to get a do-over and we're trying to kind of kick the can down the road and keep it in the family longer. So it's an interesting conversation. I hear both sides to the conversation. Let's see. Do we have one more caller we can get to? I think we do. We got Greg in Texas. This will be our final caller before we get to Coach Jack. Hey, Greg. Greg, you there?
Hey, it's Red, not Greg.
Oh, okay. Red in Texas. Sorry, my screener was saying Greg. How you doing?
Oh, that's right. My TV was up kind of.
I gotcha.
I mean, I've been a Syracuse follower since I was probably 8 years old. I live in Texas, but I'm originally from St. Lawrence County.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
Well, I guess I had a thought. All right. First of all, nobody wants or thinks that you should be let go. And, to me, there's one guy on his staff who has coaching experience. Not that I just think maybe it'd be a good change. But what I've been thinking about is a lineup change.
Yeah.
I really think we have too many shooters out who can't shoot. So my thought is this. Let's put Sadiq, Donnie, and Kyle in the back, and maybe we will be able to get more rebounds and get the two guards and maybe the wing out on the break more often.
Who are your two guards?
Yeah, but I'm saying you might get a wing out there,
yeah,
too.
But who are your guards that you want to play?
Does it really matter?
Yes,
I mean, we've
of course
got
it matters.
5 or 6. Okay.
All right, Greg, we got to pick up the pace. So what do you got? Just give me your starting five. What's your lineup change?
All right, I gave you the back, so I would probably go with Kings and
George Starling. Okay. Yeah, I think.
No. Kings.
Nope. Kings. Who's your one?
Yeah. Kings and George.
All right, Kings and George. That's Greg in Texas. I think that lineup of Kings at the 2 has been used more lately, and I think we will continue to see that. And I'm all for, Red said last night, everything is on the table. He wanted to get a look at Bryce Seffer at the end of the game. I'm all for them making some changes. Let's see. Let's just go right to Coach Jack right now. We don't want to keep her waiting. Coach Jack, we need some positivity right now. We're dealing with a lot of angry callers when it comes to men's basketball. So I'm going to go to one of the more positive people in the world that I know right now, and that is the head coach of the Orange women's basketball team, Felisha Legette-Jack. Coach, how are you doing today?
Oh, fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're going to bring the Felisha Legette-Jack show brought to you by Empower to Drive Time. We're going to try and bring the same positive energy that we've had out at Wegmans because, unfortunately, with the winter storm show this week, we'll pick it back up next week. But we got to talk about your team. You're getting ready for Georgia Tech. And your team had a very nice showing, I thought, down on the road against UNC. You played a really good team. Really high-level back-and-forth game. Now that you've had some time to kind of dissect it, look at the film, what are your takeaways from that game against UNC?
Our starts have to get better. We didn't start the first quarter the way we that belongs to me. I got to be more engaged. I got to be a little bit more involved. And I kind of, I'm trying to figure out when I let them go and become, and when do I step in. And that's that gray area right now in January that, I know that we have to release it a little bit, but when and how. With new players from all over the world, really, I have to digest that quicker and become a better head coach.
What would you say, Coach, are the biggest lessons that you took from last year and applied to this year? Because I know that a lot of it comes down to the roster and what you have in front of you to play with. And obviously you brought back a lot of your pieces from last year and you grew them. But you're having this great turnaround season where you've already won 6 games in ACC play, 6-3 in the league after 6 wins last year. What did you take from last year to maybe apply to this season?
Enthusiasm of purpose, right?
Yeah.
You got to love what you do, and you got to do what you love. And this is my passion, and my passion is to grow young people to newfound heights and to meet them where they are and take them higher. And last year we didn't do a great job with that, and this year we're doing a better job because our players are more engaged. I'm more engaged. I got some incredible assistant coaches that's really pushing the envelope for us to go higher and fly faster. And so it's just energetic. We're not going to let anybody tell us, oh, you're great. We're not going to let anybody say, oh, but you're terrible. We don't listen to the noise. We're just trying to be a part of our passion. And I think that if we can continue to do that, what we're going to do is bring good energy into this amazing city that we call home. On a cold day like this, we make it warm by just being our authentic selves and loving what we're doing. So that's what we brought this year that we didn't have enough of last year. It's enthusiasm of purpose.
I love that. I love that it seems like if you could choose positive or negative, you're always choosing the positive side of things. It doesn't really matter with you. You're always bringing that energy. And I think just if you've been around the team, if you've been to a game this year for 10 seconds, you've seen the team, or if you follow the team closely from the start of this year, you can tell that your players have that energy and they pass that test of having kind of that infectious energy on the court and off the court right now. And I know that you feel that way, that this team really does have the appropriate energy.
We're fighting hard. We love dancing and love, celebrating each other, I've come from a mom who raised 5 kids and retired making $36,000, and I never seen her cry. I never seen her sad. I never seen her pissed off. I just, I know I don't have all those tendencies or those traits, but I do remember what she brought to the table every day of my growing up in Central Village and on the east side, the south side, wherever we live. And so if she can do it, then I can do it. If you can see somebody, celebrate living and being a part of this earth, then you can actually do it too. And I just lived with her, and I really realized how impactful she was in my life with her in infectious way she did things. And I try to instill that into our players, and it's easy to do that because I think the majority of my players came from that kind of household as well. Mm-hmm. So, this is a microcosm of life, what we're doing. This is not like a thing of we're not doctors and going to save a life or not. We're going to give you our best energy in a sport that we love. And we may not play the best every game. We may not win all the games. But what you're going to see on a daily basis is us giving our best effort. And it's because of a lady named Felisha Legette showed me what grace looks like in the heat of the battle.
That's awesome. Coach Jack with us right now. The Orange women's basketball team in action tomorrow, 6 p.m. start against Georgia Tech at home. And we encourage all of you to come on out to the game tomorrow. This team is playing some great basketball right now, tied for 4th in the ACC currently. And Uche Azoje continues to play some great basketball, Coach, and she continues to get accolades and awards and recognition. And it feels like you were early on this. You knew from the preseason onward that she could be a very, very special player. How impressed have you been seeing her growth in her freshman season to this point?
Spectacular. Yeah, she's just a dream. We get lucky sometimes when you recruit kids from all over the world and talent-wise what they can bring. You've been on the FaceTime with them a few times and you sense what kind of person they are. I'm not even close I mean, she is so much better as a human being than I could have ever have thought. She is so much more gifted as an athlete than I could have imagined. And I am just so grateful that God chose me to be in this young lady's life because, you know what, I'm getting blessed every day just sitting on the sideline witnessing just a spectacular human being first, character second, and then guess what? She's an unbelievable student that can play the game at a high clip. So we got great coaches that's helping her develop more, and I'll get involved a little bit. But I'm just very fortunate. If you haven't seen Uche Ezoje play basketball yet, Syracuse community, you're missing out on something. I've been around this game for 40 years. I've not seen a freshman come in and do what she's done in the country. And I'm talking about from every team in the country.
Yeah, I've been saying it all year. Unbelievable athlete, and I feel like she should be right in the conversation right now for not just ACC Freshman of the Year, but National Freshman of the Year. The way she is playing 9 double-doubles on the season, had one against UNC this past weekend, a career-high 27 points, 12 rebounds. And I've been really impressed, Coach, with Uche in particular. It felt like it took her a little bit to get used to what is called a foul in America, and she was fighting through foul trouble a little bit early on in the season, but as I've been calling the games, I haven't been saying those two words, foul trouble, for Uche as much lately, and I know that is really important to your team.
She's not fouling, but she's getting fouled.
Right.
And, but she's able to sustain it, though, and she's understanding that, you know what, you hit me once, that's a love tap. You hit me twice, I have to go through your chest. And it's just about, that's how we coach them up. You know, we don't have time to complain. We're not going to, bellyache about things. They won't. I will, because I just love talking to the officials. But at the end of the day, we're going to learn lessons, and we're going to win through the small things. And Uche has really demonstrated what it looks like to go through layers of defensive prowess, but yet maintain her focus to give us points time after time after time after time.
All right, Coach, final thought from you. The game tomorrow night, Georgia Tech. What should we know about this matchup? And what would you say to Orange Nation that's thinking about what they're going to be doing tomorrow night and you want to see them at the Dome, and how much it would mean to kind of start getting some more support from Orange Nation for your team?
You know what? We're going to put our head down and tend to the sheep, but we hope that people will come and witness greatness. They choose not to and watch it on TV, and we're okay with that. We're okay with just playing in the dark. We're okay with playing in front of thousands of people. Syracuse, you got to understand, this thing is happening right now. The train is in motion. If you want to join us, we would love to have you there. But you know what we're not going to do? We can't worry about it. But what I can tell you about Georgia Tech, they're an incredible team. They're undersized, but they are so fast. They can all shoot the three ball, including their 6'6" center. They're going to push the envelope. They're on, I think, a 2 or 3 game winning streak right now. We have our hands full. And making noise in that dome will really, really be a fun thing to have for them to see that when you come to the dome, you're going to have to deal with the loud house. And there are people in the stands. But if they don't come, we're going to have to get loud ourselves. And so the 6 to 18 people that show up, you got to scream a little louder. But if we get 1,000 to 2,000, guess what? We can save the lungs of the few.
Yeah, exactly. We can get that place truly the loud house. That'd be awesome to see. Yeah. Well, Coach, I knew you were going to bring the positive energy that I needed today. We can always count on you for that. So thank you so much for being you and hopping on here and talking about your team for a little bit. We appreciate you.
Last thing. Let's go.
There we go. We need to get that in. Absolutely.
Before Tim, hey, Syracuse Nation, we're proud of how you're sustaining this weather and this cloudy stuff. Continue to be positive, because guess what? God's going to bless us all when we bless somebody else with positivity. Let's go, Orange.
I love it. We need to do that. That's what we've been doing at the end of the Felisha Legette-Jack shows out at the Wegmans Burger Bar in DeWitt. We've been doing some singing out there, some positive energy. We all needed that. At least I needed that. I needed the positive energy. That was like a 5-hour energy from Coach Jack there. Always great to get her thoughts on her team. And again, tomorrow night, the Orange women's team in action against Georgia Tech at home. Then they'll be on the road to Miami this weekend as they continue through their ACC schedule, really playing some great basketball, tied for 4th in the ACC right now. Back to your thoughts on the phone lines on men's basketball, football, women's basketball, men's lacrosse, whatever you want to talk about. You can call in and we'll get you after this break. 315-437-7644. We're back with more Drive Time.
This is
Dawn Staley. She's a heck of a coach, Jen. I wonder if she will coach men at some point. Her name always gets brought up. Can FLJ coach both teams? If you were calling earlier and we had to get to Coach Jack, you can give a ring the rest of the show. We'll get to you. Yeah, that was funny that his name was Red. I don't think I've ever met another Red. Yeah, you can make a case, Cuse Vegas, that the tickets are a little too expensive. Just the overall, like, the parking. I guess parking's free for women's basketball, but the concessions and all that, too. It's not cheap anymore to go. I mean, it never really was, but I kind of gave her the option at the start, the way I phrased my intro with the angry callers. I know that she watches the men's team a lot, and she sees what's going on with them, and we've talked a lot about how sometimes it feels like it's nothing but negative energy at times around that team, but I get it. I mean, it's just not good enough right now. Yeah, that's a good call. I'm assuming Cuse Vegas is Nick. Gotta be. We have 2 Syracuse Vegas fans in here. Wow, big B-Day, Super Cat. Go somewhere warm and south. Cuse Vegas is not Nick? Whoa. Plot twist. How about, I don't know, I'm going to Miami this weekend, and I can't wait for that. Somewhere warm, I would say. Super Cat. Are we going to attach a number to this birthday, or are we not talking about that? You're implying like it's a round number. I tell you what, you could get her tickets to Alter Bridge at the Landmark Theater on May 15th. That could be a birthday gift to yourself that you win when we give those away in a little bit, if you'd like. We got Red in Texas back after I was rushing him earlier. Maybe he's got his starting lineup down now. Ray, wow. Holy cow. There are 2 Vegas fans in here. Shout out to Las Vegas. Maybe you're not actually in Las Vegas, but you're just going with the Cuse Vegas name. That'll be an interesting poll. Maybe we'll do that at some point when it's inevitable. I know a lot of you would say it's inevitable now, but Jerry McNamara, hire him. Would that please the fan base? I usually feel like I have a good pulse on things. I would imagine the average Twitter fan would be against it, but a lot of the callers have been advocating for him. We continue on Drive Time on a Wednesday afternoon, taking your phone calls on Syracuse basketball. Just chatted with the head coach of the Orange women's basketball team, Felisha Legette-Jack. That interview available shortly on our YouTube page. And also on our podcast feed, you can always catch every second of Drive Time, ESPN Syracuse /Utica Rome on the podcast feed. Thanks to all of you who have been calling in throughout the last 24 hours or so as we're all trying to digest the 4-game losing skid for the men's basketball team and what is going on right now with the state of the Syracuse men's basketball program. Let's go back to the phone lines if you'd like to call in. If you have a thought on anything Syracuse related or elsewhere, 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. We're going to go back to Red in Texas. So I had to kind of rush off the phone earlier because we had Coach Jack waiting. But Red, thanks for calling back. And let's pick up the conversation you were having earlier. You were trying to lay out some lineup changes for us.
Okay. My point was, some of our defensive problems that we're having is we're not getting defensive rebounds. And
right.
We end up playing some undersized lineups. So my thought was, you start our 3 best big men, Sadiq, Kyle, and Donnie. Put Donnie at the 3. My hope is that with George at the point, maybe he will make better decisions and less turnovers, getting out on the break. And we sucked in the half court. I mean, we're absolutely – I have the feeling there's not one set play, nothing.
The only thing I'd say to this,
on the break,
Red,
what's that?
The only thing I would say to this is you're adding Sadiq White into the front court, which will – make the spacing worse for someone like Nathan George to create off the dribble or a Nate Kings to try and create off the dribble. That's the only thing I'll add is I think that all lineups should be explored right now, but all lineups kind of do have some flaws. Now, you're bringing up some good points that the rebounding would improve, and I think everything is on the table, as Adrian Autry said last night, but if half-court offense is a concern of yours, I don't know that bringing Sadiq White into the front court and having White and Kyle out there at the same time is going to create a ton of spacing for the half-court offense.
Well, my point is, we're always going to have to play some half-court, but I wanted to reduce the amount of possessions in the half-court. If we can get out and run like Syracuse used to do years ago.
Good point.
And there's going to be lineup changes,
I hope. I feel like Coach Autry's been teasing it. I know that. Right. But I would like to see something that is a complete deviation at this point, because it does feel like what they're throwing out there and what they are using right now is stuck, and it needs a shot in the arm of some sort. It needs a Bryce Zephyr maybe playing 15. I'm all for playing someone that hasn't played in a while that you think would get in there and would play with purpose and would try and earn some extra minutes. I think that should be explored right now. In the past, that guy was kind of Kyle Cuff. I think Bryce Zephyr could be that guy maybe. So I'm all for changing things up, rotation and lineup-wise right now.
Yeah, I'd also like to see more of Cayenne.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like they just don't trust him defensively right now, and they're trying to play him as much as possible, given that he is one of their better creators offensively. But when he's out there defensively, they seem to go to the zone lineup for him a lot, and then they seem to struggle to rebound. And last night, I just didn't like the look of the zone, and I didn't obviously like how they rebounded in the zone. So it wasn't as if Cayenne made a huge impact last night. I think him and Betsy are similar, where you just need a little bit more from them on the defensive end.
Yeah. I thought Cayenne was better last night on the on-ball defense. He was going over the top of the screens. He stayed with I don't remember which.
Sure.
Usually it's like he's disinterested in defense. And last night was the first time I seen him actually try.
Yeah. All right. Good points, Red. I appreciate you calling back. And anything else you want to get off your chest before we let you go?
No, like I said, it's like having heart surgery to watch the Cuse anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. I hear
But
you
it
there.
is bad.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Yep. Thank you. That's Red in Texas. I've now met another Red, I guess, that is not the head coach of the Orange currently right now, the guy that we keep talking about. We'll work in a break here, but as we go to break, we got a ticket giveaway for all of you. We're doing this week on Drive Time. Alter Bridge is coming to the Landmark Theater on May 15th for a 7 p.m. show. May 15th, Landmark Theater, Alter Bridge, of WWE fame and of former Creed members. You can get 2 tickets to the show right now if you call in. We'll do caller number 1. Whoever is first to the phone lines right now at 315-437-7644. Whoever can type the fastest at 315-437-7644 will get a pair of tickets to see Alter Bridge at the Landmark Theater. We'll be back with more Drive Time on the other side.
Check out Mike.
Right. Had some interesting takes again here, Paulie. What do you got in there? Oh, you're Darth Vader. Come on, buddy. Steve's going to hate that. I don't know. Just someone, it was Michael and Manlius called in earlier, and he was apologizing for like his take yesterday when he was complaining about callers, and I said, Michael and Manlius might have a better moral compass than Steve. Like, we might have found someone that's more ethical. Yeah. Maybe take it. Let's see what the chat's reaction is.
I mean, there's only so many girls I can have sex with, so I had to like put myself in a disadvantage.
No, that's too low. Oh no, you can see it. What do we think, guys? Here.
What if we go here with
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's money. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the spot there. Steve is going to get scared of Darth Vader.
He's gonna force
Kev from Liverpool, if you want tickets, we're doing it again tomorrow.
He's gonna force choke Adrian Autry in the middle of the game. I might do my 5 guys Syracuse needs to interview for the job.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like people just want to have that conversation. I'm not going to stop them, you know. It feels like it. We all know where it's heading, sadly. I think we got someone else, Kyle. I don't know if it's a Altered Bridge fan. There we go.
You guys, I just brought this for you, the chat, to put myself at a disadvantage.
See if the YouTube chat likes it.
See, to put myself at a disadvantage when I bring ladies home. I mean, I could have this in my bedroom and just have girls throwing themselves in.
Take the beer bottle down next to the Labatt sign.
This?
That's not, it's like, what is that, champagne?
Yeah, that's for when Syracuse makes the tournament next.
Oh my God. We'll never open that thing.
His lightsaber sticks out too far.
Where did you get this?
I don't know. I think I got it for Christmas from a Secret Santa when I first started here.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty dope in my man cave. It's just...
Yeah, it's not going to be dope for the ladies' room.
It's
yeah.
a little aggressive for my bedroom at 53.
You think?
My bedroom and apartment. It's also a little aggressive for the living room.
Yeah. But I think it's got a good home there. It's in a good spot. Yeah. When's the next time we make the tourney? Well, once we hire Jay Wright, Govendo, we'll be all good.
He's got to get a call. He's on my got to get a call list.
Is he on your 5?
Yeah, he's number 5 on that.
Are you going to do the top 5 and then you're going to talk to Red at 1? Hopefully he's not listening at noon.
We would do it Friday. That's a good point. Good thought.
That's why I'm the producer. Yeah.
97.7 and 100.1. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on CuseSportsTalk.com.
All right, final segment this afternoon on Drive Time. Thanks to all of you who have been calling in. Thanks to Coach Jack, who brought some positivity earlier. If you missed that conversation, you can watch it back on YouTube, listen to it on our podcast feed as well. Post-game shows are now on our podcast feed, too. It was quite the post-game show last night. We got some weird and wonky callers, and we got a whole bunch of callers from all over the country last night. It was just caller after the 20-point L for the Orange men's basketball team to NC State. I keep going into shows and thinking, man, I got to talk about the men's lacrosse team at some point because that season is sneaking up on all of us. They start on Sunday. I do want to give a shout out to them. We always end the show with some shout outs, and shout out to them for being the ACC preseason favorite. They are picked to win the conference after they won the ACC tournament last season. Joey Spallina is rated the number one player in college lacrosse going into his senior season, according to Inside Lacrosse's top 50 players in the nation. And there are a couple things that I'm very intrigued by when we see them play for the first time on Sunday against Boston University. And I think we're all in agreement that getting a preseason number 3 team into the mix and getting some positive sports news into our life right now will be a good thing. And Syracuse's schedule is such a gauntlet. Even for Gary Gate, it's tougher than normal. They're going to start against a ranked team in Boston University. They'll play St. Joe's on the 7th of February. And then Friday the 13th is a game to schedule on your calendar and try and make it out to the Dome. Friday night, the 13th of February, they will play Maryland, who has been the big bad boss that they have not been able to get through. John Tillman and Maryland have beaten them every time. They beat them in the Final Four last year. There have been some crazy, close, wild finishes to regular season games in each of the past couple of years in that series. And last year, we felt like Syracuse, maybe that was the year they were going to get over the hump. They played them twice. They didn't beat them. And it just feels like right now, all roads are going to kind of lead to a Syracuse-Maryland standoff in the postseason again. And it doesn't feel like Syracuse can get to the mountaintop of the sport again if they don't find a way to solve this big bad boss of John Tillman and Maryland. And if they don't find a way to get through Maryland, maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe they'll fall on the other side of the bracket before Syracuse, but that's a matchup that is always a chess match, always very fascinating to watch, and Maryland has candidly dominated the series recently. So very intrigued, Game 3 of the season, to see that one on Friday, February 13th, inside the Dome, Syracuse and Maryland. That will be a top 3 battle, at least 2 top 3 teams in the preseason. And, of course, women's basketball tomorrow night. That means that we do not have drive time for you tomorrow from 5 to 6 p.m. Women's Hoops will be on the air at 5:45. I'll be inside the Dome for that one per usual. So join us for our 5:45 pregame, ESPN Radio Syracuse, of course, for all of our women's basketball games throughout the season. And then I will be off to Miami this weekend for the SU women's game as they continue through their ACC stretch right now and continue to hopefully play some great basketball like they have been playing of late. They have won 3 of their last 4, ended a 3-game winning streak with a very good performance and a loss at UNC in overtime. So no drive time tomorrow. We'll pick it back up on Friday. We will have Orange Nation tomorrow, and we will chat with our typical Thursday guests on Orange Nation. That is the man that we are all discussing right now, who is Adrian Autry, the head coach of the men's team. Will be on at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Orange Nation. You can always watch it on CuseSportsTalk.com if you're on the go. And also we'll chat with Matt Park, the voice of the Orange, at 1:30 tomorrow on Orange Nation. Thanks to all of you for following along tonight. And thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and watching us on CuseSportsTalk.com. We'll talk to you next time.
This is Orange.